First of all, I want to welcome everyone to the Art of Problem Solving and the USA Biolympiad webinar, all right, on how to access the AOPS site. All right, I'm here with Michelle King, our manager of the USABO. My name is Kathy Frame. I'm an advisor and a consultant to the program. All right, it's my pleasure to introduce our hosts for this meeting, and it's Devin Ware and Kevin Yaiko from the Art of Problem Solving. Devin.
Hi guys, great to meet you. So I'm Devin. I work here at Art of Problem Solving, which if you don't know actually what Art of Problem Solving is, we are actually primarily a math-based company. So we do online education for students who are a lot like students who take the USABO. Excited, motivated students is really our bread and butter, and that's how we get involved with things like the USABO and other contests. You'll see several math contests are also run through our site right now. And basically, we just have a huge group of excited and motivated students. And that's a big part of what makes Art of Problem Solving what it is. So, as you register and come to Art of Problem Solving, it's also a great place to meet other like-minded people who are really excited about, math or biology or whatever it is. There's biology sections of our community, which has over 700,000 members. The biology section doesn't, but the whole community does. And people are just discussing awesome stuff all the time. So that's a very brief introduction to Art of Problem Solving. I'm not going to let that take up a lot of your time, but if you're interested or curious about our programs, we offer online school, after school math classes. So definitely think about it. We're offering a physics one starting in the spring as well. What I'm mostly here for today is to show you guys around the Art of Problem Solving website so that you can figure out how to get registered once you've already signed up for the USABO, right? All you people have already signed up for the USABO, and now they're saying, okay, I need to sign up. I need to go register on AOPS. That's confusing. What do I need to do? So I'm just going to walk us through it really quickly. So what I'm going to do to start is just share my screen and just kind of walk you guys through the steps for going and registering on Art of Problem Solving. So once you guys have already registered on the USABO, they're going to tell you, hey, go to Art of Problem Solving. And that's where you're going to take the test. That's where you're going to fill in your registration. Here we are. We're on the homepage for Art of Problem Solving. This is the website where you're going to, so actually I should point out that I'm on a fake version of Art of Problem Solving right now. So don't copy this URL. This is a fake version so that we can have the contest open right now, a fake contest open that's not actually open in real life. So no one can take a biology exam on AOPS right now, but we're going to on fake AOPS test here. So you should, at any time, if I have a URL up in the bar and you want to use it, just take out this test 3, and that's your email. That's your actual URL. So the actual URL I'm on is aops.com/online. We're going to stick with test 3 for now. Okay, so you're going to wind up here on AOPS, and then the question is, okay, how do I get to where I find out about the Biolympiad? Okay, so I would go to resources, and then you'll see this big section that says contests on AOPS. So that's what we're looking. We're focused on contests. So that's the only section we care about is this stuff right here, this contests on AOPS. Okay, the AMC is American Math Competition. So this is a big competition for people excited about math in grades 8 through 12. Math Counts is another big math competition for students in grades 6 through 8. And like I said, math is kind of AOPS's bread and butter for now. For now, maybe we'll be getting more and more into biology and we're getting more and more excited about sciences. But that's why those are sort of a little bit more prominent and easy to find on the page, because they're sort of our bread and butter, and they're a little bit bigger contests as well in terms of volume of students. So what we're going to do is go to other contests. So we are not AMC and we're not Math Counts, but we are a contest. So let's go ahead and click on other contests. And so we can see this, we take into this homepage for contests, and we say, oh, AOPS is a proud partner of Math Counts, the AMC, the APT, and the USABO, like I mentioned. And there are several other contests going on here as well. We hosted the Putnam exam, if you've ever heard of that, which is where college students do a very challenging math competition, but we're not focused on that now. So what we're going to do is scroll down and look for our competition. So the way to do it is look at upcoming events, okay? And you can see here in January 2022, we've got upcoming events for the USABO. So we went here, we went, okay, resources, other contests, and then we scrolled down and we saw in January, USABO contest platform registration and the USABO practice exam. And so these are the correct dates. These are when these are actually going to start. So The USABO contest platform registration is going to start on January 3rd. So that means you should already be registered with the USABO. This is just going to be linking up your registration with the AOPS website. And Mihik Sani mentions that they only see the MC8. That's correct. Like I mentioned, right now we're looking at a fake version of AOPS that has the biology information on it. Real AOPS is going to have the biology information on it. Starting in probably next week, we're going to put the calendar events up, but the registration won't actually be up until January 3rd. So we're looking at a sneak preview of what's going to be there starting next week or in the future. So we can see that for now. You won't be able to see it on your site. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and click one of these. The way to get there is to click on the little arrow at the end. We can actually click on either of these. They'll take us to the same place. Where they're going to take us is the USABO homepage. So let's go ahead and click there. So now we're here. We're on the USABO homepage, and this is going to give us all the information that we need. Okay. So it tells us registration will be open until January 31st. Now that doesn't mean registration with the CEE and USABO. You need to already be registered for that. This means linking up your registration to Art of Problem Solving. You can do that until January 31st. And that's sort of what we're walking you through here. Okay. Now, there's a document here that will be very helpful if you forget what's going on, what I talked about today. You can click this document and you'll see it'll open it up, and it's just going to go through everything that I'm going to talk about here. Okay, so that's a great reference for you if you are confused. And so what I'm going to do is throw that into the chat for you so you have it for later. And Kevin mentions that he highly recommends bookmarking the actual site that we're on, which is this one here. So I will chat that to you guys as well. So that's going to be the URL that you're going to visit in order to register. It's also the URL you're going to visit to take the test once you're actually there. That's the key URL that you want, aops.com/contest/USABO. So if you don't remember that, you could get there through this process that I just did, which was go other contests. Okay, let's scroll down until we find USABO and just click it. Okay, and then you'll end up there. Or you can bookmark this URL that I shared in the chat and get straight to this page. Both very convenient and good ideas. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and go through the registration process. Once you've found the page, which is sort of the first big hurdle, I think it's not super obvious to find the page because, like I said, our website has a ton of stuff going on. You know, there's tons of math stuff on here and tons of our online classes and all this, our big community. It's all more on the forefront. So you have to kind of dig a little bit, but hopefully this shows you how, and you can reference back to this or the link that I showed. Yes, great question, Amber. The practice test is hosted by apps, and we're going to see how to access that in just a minute. So the first thing we need to do is register for this exam. So the first thing we need to do in order to register, it's going to tell us, well, we need to create an account. Okay, so we need an AOPS account. So some of you might already have AOPS accounts because if you maybe took the exam last year, or maybe you're an excited math student as well. So if you already have an AOPS account, you can just sign in. So let me show you that first. And you see, I'm already signed up. So I'm already registered. So I'm good to go. So this is the account we're going to look at later to see what starting the practice exam and hence the real exam will be like. But let's just sign out and pretend we don't have an account yet. So we're going to click create an account. And when we do that, we're going to need to basically just choose all this information for our account. So we're going to need to choose a username. We don't recommend using your real name. And that's just because our community, you know, it's for a lot of kids and, you know, you don't want to give away your personal information to other people on the website if you're posting on the community, etc. Okay. And if you have questions about the test itself, I'm hoping that our two test organizers, Kathy and Michelle, can go ahead and hit you with those in the Q&A. So feel free to ask those, but Kathy and Michelle will answer those. So you're going to need to create a username, or if you already have one, just sign in. So here we are to create a username. It's a fairly straightforward process. You know, choose a username. You know, I'll choose a fake username 15, and I'll make my password something silly. All right, and then you're going to need to enter your birthday and this captcha code. Okay, and the reason for this birthday, we're not actually storing your birthday in any way except for to check if you're under 13 years old. So if you're under 13 years old, you will have to have a COPA filled out. So that's a form saying that you give consent to be on the website. So if you're over 13, absolutely no worries. Just enter your birthday, which I am over 13. So I'm going to go ahead and put a fake birthday. I'm not born in 1925, believe it or not, but I'll leave my actual actual age unknown to you. So let's go. Okay, invalid password. Oh, I'm not allowed to use password as my password. Now we've got an account. We have to activate it by checking our email. So we'd have to go to our email and then click on the link from our email. And then once you've done that, then you'll have a fully registered AOPS account. You can use that for anything, including linking up to your USABO. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I will actually go to my email real quick on a new window. Here's what the registration page is. Once you've created an AOPS account, you'll end up on this USABO exam registration page. Okay. And from here, the important information you're going to need is your USABO student ID number. Okay, so this is provided to you by the CEE when you registered for them. So you should have gotten, I believe, an email with that ID number. I'm not sure where else it's available, but maybe Kathy or Michelle can speak to where you can find this USABO ID number if you don't know it.
Everyone receives it by email once they register.
Okay, so this number is in your email. Okay, so you should have a registration student ID in your email. So we'll just pretend ours is this. This is going to tell us it's not a real ID because we typoed it. But let's find out. Yeah, so it says this is not a USABOD. So it says double check, so maybe you did make a typo. That's possible. If you do this, you make a typo. Okay, well, double check your ID. If your ID is for sure right, then you're going to need to contact the CE customer service just because that's very strange and we need to figure out what's going on. But for the most part, you'll have an ID, you'll type it in and you'll click submit and then you'll be good to go. Okay, so now I'm going to go and sign in as a student that has already registered. You can see I've got tons of students ready here. So here I am, I'm registered, I'm on homepage. It tells me I'm registered for this contest. And unfortunately, there's absolutely nothing to do right now. I don't have any tests available. It tells me the practice exam is going to be available tomorrow, which is actually not true, by the way. These dates are because we set it up to open up very soon. The actual practice exam is going to start in January, so January 15th. So don't trust any of the dates you see on this page. Like I said, this is a fake version of AOPS with sort of all weird dates. The dates are the main thing that are very strange. That's correct. You're going to register this after January 3rd. You're going to go through this exact process. Okay. And so now I'm going to have Kevin, if he can, open up the practice exam for us so we can take a look at what it's like to actually start and do an exam on the AOPS platform. So Kevin can let us know when that's ready to go.
Go ahead and refresh. It should be there.
Okay, great. So when the practice exam is open, you'll see this huge button that says start practice exam, right? And we see here, oh, the practice exam is going to be available until January 31st. That's great. So that means we can do it anytime. If we miss the main time for it, we can try it again later. No big deal. So start practice contest is what you're going to press in order to click on that. So let's go ahead and click start practice contest since we're here. Actually, let's just go back through just in case we forgot. We're back on AOPS. We registered on January 3rd and now it's January 15th. And we say, okay, well, now it's January 15th. I should go take the practice contest. Okay, so what am I going to do? Well, maybe I bookmarked the link. Maybe I didn't. If I didn't, I'm going to go to AOPS.com and I'm going to go over here to resources and I'm going to say, okay, other contests. I'm a biology contest. I'm in other contests. And I'll see it. I say, oh, the USABO practice exam. That's exactly what I want, right? This is what I want to do. Let me go ahead and click this. Doop. Now I'm here and I see this big button that says start practice competition. And I say, oh, awesome. I'm ready to start my practice competition. Let me click that. Okay. And so now we get here and this is practice exam instructions. And I recommend you read these very carefully. I'm not going to read them all to you right now, just because I think that'd be really boring to have me reading off the screen, but feel free to browse them now. And of course, read them carefully later when you're actually here. But mostly the important part is what you're allowed to use. You can use number 2 pencils, a non-programmable calculator. Okay, you have your computer, of course, because you're going to be using this exam. But okay, so let us go ahead and we're going to click either continue or back to the main page. Back to the main page will say, that's what you click if you're like, actually, I wasn't ready to start yet. Let me go back. Okay. But we are ready to start. So let's go ahead and click continue. And it'll say, are you sure you're ready to start? And I say, yeah, I really am. So I'm going to start. Now, what happens is you have to enter your passcode. So you're going to receive a passcode by email for this practice exam. And as well for the real exam, the point of this is to simulate the real exam. The real exam is going to have a passcode that you receive from the CEE. The practice exam is also going to have a passcode that you receive from the CEE. And the point of that is so that it's secure. You know, other people can't access it if they weren't really registered and they somehow nefariously got here. So we've got the exam password. So I've got the password here. And as you can see, this is the password. This is the password for last year's exam. This is not a real password that you're going to need here. But it's a crazy password, so you're not going to be able to guess it. So you're going to have to make sure you have it from the CEE. Okay. Okay. And I was tending to ask if you can take the practice exam. Oh, no, this is the real exam. After 4 p.m. Eastern. For the real exam, you need to take it on time. You need to take it at the prescribed time. The practice exam you can take late because it's more for practicing and making sure you understand the system, but the real exam has to be on time. Okay, so we've got the password here, and let's go ahead and click submit, and this will open up the practice exam. Okay, and so this is the practice exam for the USABO last year. So this basically mimics a real exam. In fact, it is a real exam from 2016. So it's very much good practice. You know, if you want to go through this and do it as an exam to practice, I highly recommend it. That's generally my #1 recommendation for practicing for contests is do old contests or do old contest problems. So totally do that. And you'll see it's simulating just like the real competition, the amount of time you have left. So what's going to happen here is we have this panel box here that tells us all of our information that's important to us when we take this exam. Our time remaining. We've got 49 minutes and 15 seconds, right? So we had 50 minutes in total, 50 questions in total. So we've got 1 minute per problem. So that, you know, of course, that's not going to mean every problem is going to uniformly take 1 minute. Some of them are going to take you 10 seconds because you're just going to know the answer. And so that's an important problem solving strategy as well. You know, get through the ones you already, you know, quickly scan through them and answer the ones you know might be a good idea. But anyway, this sort of shows you the important information that you're going to see. So no screenshots of the exam. That's important. We really don't want you to take screenshots of the USABO exam. And that's because we don't want these problems getting out, you know, inadvertently. We know you're not trying to be nefarious, but you never know what's going to happen if people start taking screenshots and have the problems on their computer. Maybe somebody will happen to see your computer, see the problems. I don't know. So we just want to avoid that. So just don't take any screenshots of the exam. And if you run into any issues while you're taking the exam, you should email info+contests@artofproblemsolving.com or at aops.com. Those link to the same place. Okay. And be patient with it. If you're experiencing an issue, we will have people on call. Not for the practice exam, it might take us a little while to get back to you, but don't worry about it because we'll get back to you and fix it. For the real exam, we will have people on call during the exam. So don't panic. We'll be there. It might take us a couple minutes to see your email and respond, but we'll remedy it. We'll give you the time back, whatever it is. We'll get it fixed. If it's an issue happening to multiple people, we'll find a way to correct it and get everybody on the right page. So yeah, don't panic. We will get it working. Just send us an email. Let us know what's going on. Okay. But hopefully you won't need to do that. And I don't believe you'll need to do that. We'll just come here. You'll take the test. You'll have your 50 minutes. You'll be focused. You'll be looking at these problems. You'll be answering them. Okay. So let's just go ahead and see what we would do. Okay. It tells us prided as the first Greek philosopher postulated that water is the unifying principle of the universe. Which of the following is a property of water? Okay, can anybody go ahead and tell me which of these they think is a property of water? Let's go ahead and try to answer that. I'm not sure. I'm not a biology expert. Like I told you, I'm a math guy. So I have no idea if water is least dense at 0 Celsius or if hydroxide is the conjugate base. I don't even know what conjugate base means. So I'm going to need your guys' help here. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people saying D. D is the #1 that I'm seeing. So hydroxide is the conjugate base of water. All right, let's go ahead and put that in. We've submitted D. Hydroxide is the conjugate base of water. Okay, Let's try another one that we might be able to read fairly quickly. Some of these seem kind of complicated to read. Okay, this one looks kind of hard. Let's see if you guys can help me with this one. Okay. I have designed a 15 base pair long degenerate primer sequence cat, 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 MAAGCM. Okay, well, the M's represent base pairs, which can be A or C. You'll be using these primers for binding it with a genome with 2 times 10 to the 9th base pairs. That's a huge number. What is the expected number of binding sites for your primers? All right, this sounds like it's kind of mathy, kind of biology. Anybody have an answer here that they want to go ahead and shoot out for us? I'm seeing an A, I'm seeing a C, seeing a couple C's, couple A's. Seems like people are unsure between C and A. Interesting. Okay, well, so that shows these practice exams are going to be valuable. You know, we don't all already know the answers from the practice exams. So these are going to be really important for you to practice, okay? So we're going to put A because I think that's the answer I'm seeing the most common. But C seems to be a second runner that might be important. Somebody asked, what's a genome? You know, I'm not the person to ask that question. Like I said, I am a math guy, but it looks like somebody answered a series of bases. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so then we can just scroll through and we can see there's a bunch of problems on this exam. Let's remember which ones we actually answered. We answered number 8 and number 1. So we're going to be able to see the review afterwards so we can see if we got them right. Okay, so we're scrolling through. You shouldn't actually do the test maybe by scrolling quite this quickly, but you can see there's just a ton of problems. Maybe you clicked one, you're like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to put D. You can clear it, right? Or you can just change it by clicking on a different answer. And one thing you might notice is this thing that says saving answers whenever you click it, and then answer saved with a check mark. You see answer saved with a check mark? That means, you know, even if you close out the page, it's going to save those answers. It's going to know, okay, I have your answers. You can load it back up and it will have those ones saved. You're good to go. All right. So we can just go ahead and keep going through here. And we see there's a bunch of questions. This thing sticks around with us, tells us how much time we have left. We've still got 44 minutes. We've got a ton of time. Okay, well, let's try the final problem just because it sounds kind of fun, actually. Chef Grace is cooking up a stir fry. That's awesome. Okay, Chef Grace is cooking up a stir fry. She wants to use, oh, that's a difficult word to pronounce. She wants to use pseudocolimate larvae. Which of the following groups would not provide suitable larvae for her consumption? Yeah, Chef Grace is cooking something cool. What do you guys think? Which of these groups would not provide suitable larvae for her consumption? We can select all that apply, notice. So we may be able to select more than one here. And we can, so that's where this clear button is going to come in handy, because here you can't just undo. Well, you can, I guess, by clicking it, but the clear button may come in handy if you got 3. Actually, no, not those. Okay, so some people are saying, oh, I'm seeing tons of answers out here, actually, lots and lots of different answers. Some people say B and E. I'm hitting E, C and E. I'm seeing everything but E. Okay, wow. So this is a tough one. And of course, these are much tougher than average because there are a lot more options for a problem like this, right? Instead of having 5 options for things you can choose, you have 32, right? There are 32 different choices for number 50, actually, which is way harder than 5. So, okay. I've seen a couple people say everything but E. I'm going to go ahead and go with everything but E. I have no idea if that's going to be correct, but I think that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, so I think we've gone through this. We've seen it. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is submit our exam. So we click submit, and now here's something really important. It's going to put this pop-up when you click submit. It's going to say, are you sure you're really done? You will not be able to come back if you submit all. So if you accidentally click submit, you are just clicking around. Oh, let me click stay. I actually want to check my work. Or I'm not actually done. I just accidentally clicked this submit button over here because there's 2 places you can click submit. Maybe you accidentally clicked it. No, I'll stay. This is very important. Do not click that submit all unless you are absolutely done, because this will end your exam. Okay, this will be the end of the exam if you click submit all. So you can just Click back, click stay if you want to stay. Now your time, if you see this timer is running down, if this timer actually runs down to the end, the exam is just going to stop. So it's going to click the submit button for you automatically and you can't go away. You're just automatically submitted. So that's what's going to happen if the time runs out. But if you want to submit early, you can just click submit and say, yes, I am done. So that's what we're going to do now. Submit, we are done. Okay, and then we got this message, the practice exam has ended. Okay, so now what we want to do is for the practice exam, we can view our results. So I say we go ahead and do that and see if we got any of those problems right. Hey, look at that. We got problem 1 right. You guys are biology experts and hydroxide is the conjugate base of water. Very nicely done. I'm impressed. Let's see the next one. The next one we answered was problem 8, which is also correct. Awesome. So the answer was 7. The expected number of binding sites for our primers was 7. Awesome job to all you guys who said D and A for those 2. I'm very impressed. We got one wrong. I am seeing that. Yeah, I think we answered number what else did we answer? We answered number 50. It was not all but E, unfortunately. So actually one place we can go to find out what it was, if we want to take a look, is by clicking this practice exam key. And so that's going to take us to something actually from the USABO. Like I said, this was the exam from 2016. And so they have the answer key here that we can look up. Okay, so it was actually C and E. E was one of the answers, even though we just clicked all but E. So we were a little off on this one. Chef Grace is going to be in big trouble when she goes ahead and eats some of these that may not have been particularly safe for her. So that's not great. But anyway, I think that's a really fun question, actually. I really like it. I like that it's kind of fun and playful and you know, yeah, Chef Grace might have poisoned herself, unfortunately, given our answer to this question. So that's not great. Especially because we told her that, you know, one of the ones that was not safe was safe. In fact, we told her it was the only one that was safe, was one that wasn't. So she's not in good shape at all. But anyway, now what I want to do really quickly is just run us back, go back to the beginning, run us through everything. Yeah, clearly not. We're not the right people for Grace to ask about her cooking issues. But, you know, maybe after a little more practice, we will be. So Chef Grace, I think she'll be doing great. After we all do the practice test, we study a little bit, we all get ready for the real test. On the real test, we'll all have Chef Grace in great shape. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just run us through again, just every little thing real quick, power through it mode. If you guys have any questions, make sure to ask them. Okay, so we get here. We've registered for the USABO through the CEE. We have our registration ID, and they said it's January 3rd now, go link up with AOPS. Okay, so we went to AOPS.com. Okay, does anybody know where I should go from here? I'm on AOPS.com. Now I say, okay, shoot, where do I go? What I'm going to see is, yeah, sign in or register. Great. Okay, so that's one thing we're going to need to do. We're going to need to sign in and register. Okay, so let's go ahead and click that. And let's say we have an AOPS account, so I will go with that. And if you don't have one, you'd click create an account. So let's just sign in. All right, so we've got this sign in account and we're signed in. Awesome. But now how do I find the USABO? That's a really difficult, that's another question that maybe somebody in the chat will know. Yeah, fantastic, Michelle. Resources, other contests. Okay, so we'll go resources, other contests. Okay, and then we'll scroll down. Hey, look, there's the USABO platform registration. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, let's click on that. Okay, and it's got a big register now button. That's exactly what we want to do. Okay, so I will click register now. And I will need my student ID, which was emailed to me from the USABO. Okay, then I will type that in, click submit, and we'll be good to go. And then we'll be in a state like this. Where we have our registration done. And in this case, we've completed our practice exam because we already did it. But in the case, if it was January 3rd, you know, it will say the practice exam will start on January 15th. And then when you come back on January 15th, you'll have that big click start practice exam. And that's how you'll start it. And when you come back on February 3rd, you'll have a big button at 4 p.m. Eastern time that says start real exam. Okay. And you know, work on that with your teacher. You're going to be in the room with your teacher. Your teacher's going to tell you when to start, all that kind of stuff. But that's how you'll get to it on AOPS. So does anybody have any other questions about how this stuff works? I think we've kind of gone through it. We're all very, very excited about Chef Grace and poisoning her. So yeah, any other questions? Okay. So how does your student know that he's registered, that his school is registered, other than talking to the school coordinator? I'm going to leave that one to the CEE folks, the USABO, Michelle and Kathy. Maybe I'll answer that better than me. I would imagine talking to the school coordinator would be a very wise idea.
Yeah, first speak with your test coordinator. And if not, you can contact us, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, and Sarah's asking, how do you get to the USABO exam registration on the AOPS website? Okay, so I'll click through that one more time real quick, just because I think that is a key important part. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sign out because I'm already registered here, but I'm gonna sign in with one. So you'll be on AOPS website. You can go to resources, other contests, because it's not, we know we're a contest, we know we're on AOPS and we're a contest, but we're not the AMC and we're not math counts. So we must be some other contest. Let's click that. Okay, we get here and we see, oh, USABO registration. That's where we'll go. Okay, boom. This is where how we get to the practice registration. The other option is to bookmark this link so you can go there on January 3rd. So I can share that link here. Of course, don't type it exactly as I have in my URL, because like I said, this is a fake AOPS page. Instead, the real one is that one that I just linked, okay? And that's how you can get there to register. And then you'll need to create an account. So if you don't have an account, you'll create one here. If you do, you'll just sign in and click the register button, okay? Any other questions coming in here before we wrap up? I'm happy to answer any other questions you guys have. You know, I'm here to help. And if you have other questions about the AOPS platform in between now and when you're actually registering, or when you're actually registering, you can always contact us at info+contests@aops.com. Let me throw that into the chat here. That is the email to contact if you have questions for the AOPS platform. Now, if you have questions about did I register with the CEE or something, you want to do something with them, we're probably not people to contact. You're going to want to contact your USABO contact. Okay, do we have to use the same email for the registration? You can use whatever email you want for your AOPS registration. You know, you can use your personal email if you're maybe your parent or your teacher use their email for the USABO. That's fine. You can use your own email for the AOPS registration. It doesn't matter. You will need access to the email though, because you'll have to verify that it's your email. So when you create an account, you'll get an email and have to click a verification link. Yeah, you should. That's exactly correct. And that's because we are looking at a preview into the future of the AOPS website on this fake site. So the real site's going to look just like this in a couple of days. So, you know, check back next week. You'll be able to do that. You'll be able to see all this stuff, but you won't see the register until January 3rd, because that's when this actually happens. So we're sort of looking at a preview of what's it going to be like on January 3rd right now. Okay, what will happen if during the contest you lost internet connection? So if you lose internet connection during the contest, what you're going to have to do is just try to let us know as soon as you can. Have your competition supervisor let us know as well, so we can verify, hey, this is actually an issue. And if your competition supervisor contacts us, generally we'll be able to remedy the situation for you and help you get a little bit of extra time or something, depending on the exact situation. I can't guarantee that because it's going to depend exactly what happens. But for the most part, you know, don't worry too much about losing internet connection. If it does happen, it's very unlikely, but if it does happen, we'll figure out a way to make it okay.
And that's a key point that Devin is making. Do not contact the USABO if you have any issues during the exam. We cannot help you, but AOPS can. All right, and up there in that little box that you'll see as you go through the test, it has the email that you can use to contact them.
That's right. And that's that email. I'll link it again here, info+contest@aops.com. You'll see that on the exam while you're doing it. That's who you email if you have issues. If the internet went out, email that and have your supervisor email that as well. And we will get back to you as soon as we can. Like I said, don't panic. We're going to be on call. It might take us a couple minutes to get there because there might be some other people emailing us about other issues. Maybe they forgot their password or who knows. So we'll get to you. It might take us a couple of minutes, but just be calm. We'll be there. Okay. Can I switch my AOPS account with USABO account to my AOPS account? So when you register this year, you're going to be registering fresh. It doesn't matter what you registered last year. So you can use any AOPS account for your registration this year, including whatever one you like best. Okay. Okay, how can I register for the practice exam? Yeah, so if you're registered for the USABO, it's just going to be the same. The practice exam is going to be included in that registration. Okay, and that's going to be open on January 3rd. So I mentioned again, we are looking into the future here at January 3rd. So on January 3rd, you'll be able to register, and you'll be able to, and that'll include registration for the practice exam.
And they'll receive the password for the practice exam through their test administrator.
Exactly.
Well, I thank you, Devin and Kevin. Thank you so much for your afternoon and for the grand explanations. Remember that this is recorded and it is going to be on the USABO homepage for further reference.
And let me also link this document again, just because this is an important one. If you forget any of this, it's also in this document, helping you explain how to register.